Don't ask me how, but here we are. We're
Sure.
also live on
Fabulous.
Facebook. Hello, everyone in Facebook world.
Hello, Facebook world. Hello, hello. Welcome to episode number 70 of Window Treatment Friday Live.
Yes.
Hello, my friend. How
Okay.
are you?
Good. All right.
All right. So today's topic is sliding doors. Now, why
Yes.
did we want to talk about it, Kim?
Well, because it's always a difficult topic, and we always get the question of, is it necessary to treat a sliding glass door? How hard is it to treat a sliding glass door? What can I do on a sliding glass door? So today
Yep.
we're going to show you a couple of different ways that we have treated sliding glass doors in the past.
Perfect.
Okay, and first up, this is a project that we did for Richard Carpenter Interiors. It's a project out in Long Island, and this was a master bedroom that had like a double sliding glass door out to a really pretty terrace. It was for
Hmm.
a condo. And the challenges here were the door naturally was not centered on the wall, and it
Of
was,
course not. Why would it be? I mean, why would they make it so easy?
yeah,
I mean, I think anybody who's done window treatments knows that windows are not centered, doors are not centered.
no.
There's more wall on one side than there is on the other. They're short, they're tall, long, tall. It's just like all the things that we have to mitigate with window
Yes.
treatments.
So for this particular one, you can see that the right side, and you're not even getting like a full shot of the right side, has more wall space essentially than the left. So it became the conversation of, do we do an off center split? Because then if not, then the fabric overlaps not in the middle. And we went back and forth, and we decided that we were going to do an off center split just so that you wouldn't have so much fabric on one side, or you would just have,
Yep.
it,
Equal amount of fabric on each
fabric
side.
on each side, correct. So,
Yep.
and here we did go for core draw because the wall was pretty long. We didn't, the client didn't want to do baton draw, even though they'd have a little bit more flexibility. They just
Hmm.
never really saw themselves opening one panel and not having the other one open. They just said, listen,
Yep.
we're just going to have it either all open or all closed. So it,
Yep.
both layers do move. The shears do offer a layer of privacy because this is in
Condo.
a condo development. Thank you, Vita. So there are a lot of, there's a lot of traffic, people moving around, people walking their dogs, landscapers, this, that, and the other thing, even though they're on the fourth floor. They still wanted to have a layer of privacy so that this way they could sit in their seating area in their primary bedroom and not have to worry about being on display. The front layer is a layer of blackout window treatment. So they do need that was also a requirement. So it was getting that two layered look. And the nice part about this project was when we were brought into it, it was during the construction period.
Hmm.
So the topic of conversation of hardware came up, and what's easy hardware that would look nice, that can function and whatnot. And then we started talking about light bleed with a big door like that, and how if we do a rod, you're going to get all this light bleed and an even bigger halo effect and whatnot. So we decided to create a pocket with the crown molding. Instead of the crown molding being flush, around the room, we brought it out about 8 inches off the wall to really create that pocket for the sliding glass door.
Nicely done. You touched on the difference between the cord draw and the baton draw.
Yeah.
Give us a couple of examples where, or an example where one would win over another.
So actually, on another sliding glass door, we've showed this before. It was a sliding glass door that we did for Haldon Interiors for Keisha Franklin for one of her clients, and it was a sliding glass door that almost went wall to wall, and then the windows. It was like almost like an open bay type of situation in a kitchen. And Keisha wanted the panels to frame the door, but the client wanted the panels to then just be a one-way draw, because he's like, I come in and out of this door to grill, and I don't want a panel in my way. And there was no wall space really to stack the panels on. So on the fly, I came up with an idea. I said, listen, I've never done this before. You guys would be the first, but I want to be able to give you both the best worlds. What if we made the left panel multifunctional? So on a baton. So it has batons on both ends. So when you want it to stack to the left when you're not using the door, and it can be pretty and frame the door, let's do that. And then when you want to go out to your patio, you can then push it over to the right.
Yep.
So when you want full coverage, obviously the right panel will meet in the middle and vice versa. So that's another way where a baton draw is you have a lot of flexibility on a sliding glass door because you can really move the panels from one way to the other and left, right, center, and whatnot. Where a cord draw, your flexibility is either a one-way draw, so all the panels can either stack over to the left or the right, or or if it's a center draw, both panels move at the same time. So
Right.
you're not moving the panels individually, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a really good point and a really good distinction. With baton draw, the two panels are independent of each other. So to Kim's
Mm-hmm.
point, the flexibility that the customer has is moving them individually. One could be closed, the other one could be open, the other way around, both closed, both open. But you have to move them individually. So mechanically or practically on an everyday basis, you have to go up to one panel, move it over. You have to go over to the other panel, move it over. With the cord draw, because the cord runs through the entire rod at the top, it's one
Mm-hmm.
cord, and you move it on one side. The cord is positioned on either side. Both panels operate in tandem, they operate
Yeah.
together. So you, on one hand, you don't have the flexibility of having one open and the other one closed, but on the other hand, the benefit is that you don't have to move to one and then the other to operate them. You can do it at the
Right.
same time. So just like anything in life, nothing is perfect, but we always look for the most optimal solution. And that optimal solution is usually dependent on how the person, your customer, is going to use the drape, the door, the space. And that's how you make that decision.
Right. Exactly that.
Cool. All right. So I wanted to show this example.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit, we'll call it unorthodox for a sliding glass door. And you're
Mm-hmm.
probably looking at the picture, you're like, where is it anyway?
Yeah, that was my first thought, but I really can't. I need glasses, so don't come me.
Speaking of glasses, I was at an ASID event last night and
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to say a couple of remarks about the outgoing president. And I made the mistake of jotting down my notes on a single piece of paper in like size 10 type font, and I forgot my readers. And I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Thankfully, one of the guests to the rescue, she like handed me her glasses and somebody else handed me a little flashlight so I could actually see what I'm doing. But oh my God, I mean, eyesight and the whole readers, it's like a total
It's
game
it's a
changer
game
in like
changer.
the other way. Usually use game changer in a positive way. This is like, so I made a very strong mental note to buy additional glasses, have them in every nook and cranny of my house, my car, my purse, and everything that I own.
My mom has them on each floor. She has a pair of glasses on each floor so that this way she's constantly taking them off, putting them down. She has one in her car, one in her office at the hospital. Like she's just like, I can't. It's too
Oh, I'm
much.
taking it further. I'm putting it in every room, every
Yeah.
bathroom, every car. Anyway, so what's happening here, the reason that you can't see the sliding glass door is because it's all the way in the back of the picture.
Corner. Mm-hmm.
So on the right, you see a double window. Towards the back on the left, you see a single window. And there's actually a corner window configuration there towards the very back. And there's a little window on the right and a bigger window opening, but it's actually a door all the way in the back. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the sliding glass door. Now, in this particular situation, this was a townhouse and it was back into the woods. So the privacy and light control was not an issue.
Yeah.
So we did not have to go with any kind of vertical treatment, thank God, because this customer was on the older side. She was on a traditional side, hence the valances that you see in the kitchen. So she felt very strongly about using these valances and the style on the other windows. So we almost had no choice but to take the same style and carry it onto the door itself. So I have a close-up of that.
Pretty.
So that's that back corner configuration, the small window on the right, and you see kind of a sliver of the door, the sliding glass door on the left. So now Kim and I did cover corner windows in a previous episode. So you guys go back through either our Facebook video library or the IGTV library and look up that episode. That was a real good one, a somewhat a technical one, but the corner windows do present some challenges, this being one of them as well. But in the context of sliding glass doors, which is what we're talking about today, we just carry the same valance style throughout the entire room, this kitchen slash dining room area, as we did on the other windows. Now, let's say you had a client who did need privacy, but she didn't like a vertical treatment. You do have an option of putting a horizontal treatment on the door.
Mhm.
And especially if you have valances, you could hide the headrail, which is usually not the most attractive thing.
Mm-mm.
You can hide it underneath the valance. So again, nothing is perfect, but everything is more about looking for the optimal solution. So anytime you have a valance, you actually could go with a horizontal treatment because the top will be hidden. And that horizontal treatment could be a roller shade, could be a Roman shade, could be a woven wood. I've seen blinds. I mean, I hate doing blinds
Oh,
on on sliding glass doors, but hey, sometimes you need to do what you need to do for various reasons. So
don't do it.
it's
Uh,
an
it's too heavy. It's too
it's very
heavy.
heavy. Yes,
Just
yes,
don't do
it
it.
is.
And the stack is ridiculous. So
Yes, it is.
let's try. I have a couple of things that I want to ask you about this.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
with the valance, I know that when I'm measuring a sliding glass door and we're putting a valance over top,
Hmm.
the depth of the valance always comes into play and how deep we can go into the door. So I always ask, what is the height of the tallest human being that lives here?
Yeah.
Because we don't want them to smack their face. So talk
Yeah.
to everyone about that and going through that process of deciding how deep to make the valance, and did the door in this situation really dictate how long the other valances were in the room, because it looks like everything else is pretty much at the same length.
That's right. You know, so I know that I'm talking to a professional when the thing that she sees is that all the valances are mounted on the same level. Everybody else would be like, I like the scoop, or I don't like the pleat, or I hate the style. And Kim and I are like, well, how did you treat that corner? And how high did you put it? And why did you do this and
Yeah.
the other thing? The two geeks. So again, anybody who's joined us since we started, this is Window Treatment Friday Live. This is episode number 70. Today we're talking about sliding glass doors, but every Friday at 9 a.m. from 9 to about 9:30, Kim and I geek out on all things window treatments. So in the spirit of geeking out, yes, Kim, you're absolutely right. The height of all the valances was pretty much dictated by how high we needed to put that valance over the door. So, and again, you don't want to put it so low that when you go through the door opening, somebody's head hits that valance. So you want to put it high enough. However, you also need to be careful because glass doors, especially sliders, they have kind of multiple step downs and
Hmm.
sort of layers, if you will, or sometimes I refer to it as the guts of the window. So there's the frame and there's a step down and there's a vinyl part. So you want to make sure that you cover all of that. So, but cover it just enough to not bring it too far down to hit the tallest person, but not super high so that all that junk and gunk is showing. And
Yeah.
then depending on where you position that valance on the sliding glass door, usually we try then to replicate the same positioning and the height everywhere else so that it is pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, and in this situation, it doesn't always work out that way, because I've been in situations where the windows and the doors are at different heights.
They're so different that in order to make them the same, one would
It's
have to be like
absurd.
30 inches high. Yeah.
Yeah, so I ran into that situation. So it becomes like, do we make it so that the tops all line up, but we don't care about the bottoms? Or is it that the bottoms line up and we don't care about the top? Is there another architectural feature in the room, a built-in, an armoire, something that we can line it up to? So
Hmm.
those are all little kind of key things that you kind of have to look for in the situation. Everything kind of, all the windows and doors, we were, Vita was able to line everything up very nicely, but this isn't always the case.
All those nudgy details, Kim,
Yes.
your word, your phrase,
Yes.
which I love. You're totally borrowing, stealing it,
That's
using it
right.
everywhere
Go
now.
ahead.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like custom window treatment world equates is synonymous with nudgy details. And
Hmm.
that's what we do 24/7, right, Kim?
Right.
All right. Oh, that's my close up. Here's yours.
Okay, so here is a project. What I did this project a couple years ago for a retail client of ours in West Orange. So what you're seeing here is you're seeing one section, and then we'll talk about there's another photo from. I couldn't get everything in one shot, but what we have here is a bay window seating area, and that has a sliding glass door to its right, and then it also has the same style of sliding glass door on the left hand side. So and both sliders go out to a this is also for a townhouse in West Orange, so both sliders go out to a terrace that expands the entire width of the townhouse. So there's multiple ways to get in and out of to this terrace. So you can go from this sliding glass door, the other sliding glass door on the other side to the left of the bay window, and then one in the kitchen. And with this townhouse community, there's a lot of people that walk around, landscapers and whatnot. So privacy was a very important note here from the client. So we opted to do a one-way draw. And what I wanted to display this to show that it is okay to do a one-way draw. Sometimes there's always that question, is it going to be too much fabric stacked on the one side of the door? How much glass am I going to lose? You know, all these types of questions. Now for this particular slider, we only had about 6 inches on the right side of the door, maybe about 10 inches to the left. So there wasn't that much wall space for the panel to stack. So that was definitely a conversation that I had to have with the client so that she was aware that you're going to lose almost that entire right side of your door on this slider and the left side on the other. She didn't mind because she said, I have a lot of glass, I have a lot of windows, you know, and she wanted it to be a fuller look because I said we can take the fullness down from 2.5 to 2 to 1 full. Instead of doing a traditional 3-prong pleat, we could do a 2-prong pleat, like just coming up with different ways of trying to. And she said, nope, I want to keep it the way that I would normally make it. And I said, okay, fine. So those were all conversations that we had. And she knew we went in and she knew with the expectation that you are going to lose half of the door. And we did pick a lightweight fabric. It was a semi-sheer from Robert Allen that we lined with just like a batiste sheer fabric behind it, just to protect it because it did have an embroidery on it. But these were also baton draw on a decorative traverse rod. So it's a rod with carriers that you're able to move the treatment back and forth very smoothly. Doesn't have rings because this was a little high. She didn't want to do C rings. So we went with the traverse, and and with this, again, it's all about lining it all up. So we brought the woven woods to the left up at the same height. We mounted them higher so that this way everything would kind of line up in the room together. And yeah, so that's this vision here. So you have this door here, and then the next door on the other side, you can see, so that's the door to the left of the bay. So it's really what I liked about, and I wasn't opposed to doing it because on this side, you see how much wall space we have here? It was very uneven. But when you walked in the room, both doors kind of framed that bay area. So I said, you know what? I think it'll be okay if we just did a one-way draw because then the doors, the panels just really frame out the space. And this way, it almost looks like here's like a drape, like you would like stationary panels, and then you have your woven woods in the middle.
Now, talk to us, Kim, about this stack and what is it? And also, people are usually, in this case, the customer wasn't, but usually they're very concerned how much light the drape is covering, how much window they're losing. Talk to us about how you figure out what that stack will be and how you walk the customer through it.
So there is a formula because as much as, you know, working with window treatments, it's all very pretty. It's a lot of numbers and a lot of math. So depending on the width of the door and the fabric, there is a formula that I do, a quick one that I figure out for the client. And I show them, listen, based on this size, this type of fabric, this fullness, your stack is going to be approximate. And I never give an actual number because it could change. And I just say, I give them a range. It could be anywhere from 24 to 30 inches. And then sometimes they, you know, some customers will look at you and go, what do you mean? And I go, well, we have, you know, X amount, we have 96 inches of fabric. It has to
Mhm.
stack down and pleat down somewhere. It has to go somewhere. And if we don't have wall space, then this is what's going to happen.
And
Um,
usually the formula that I use is anywhere between 20 to 30%
yeah.
of the finished width of the drape. Is that what you use as well?
It's a little bit of a different, like what the formula that I was taught, and it's so funny how we all are taught different things, is whatever your rod width is divided by 3 plus 10 divided by 2, and that's your stack. On
Wow.
a, yeah,
That's complicated. Use
yeah,
20 to 30%. It's much easier. That's what it works out to be.
probably, which is so, but it's so quick in my mind that like I could be, like, it's just one of those things, like, do it old school way, divide, or just, yeah. But so, yeah, so there are different ways to do it, but and I just like to be very transparent. And then if the customer wasn't okay with losing this much glass, then we'd have to talk about a different alternative on how to treat the window.
Yeah.
Then we go into that conversation.
This was a complicated situation. Lots of windows, uneven wall spaces,
Mm-hmm.
privacy issue. This was a complicated situation, and you handled it well, and also got a little bit lucky too with the customer who seemed to be more understanding than some of our other customers are.
Yeah, I mean, and this was someone that was downsizing from their big, 56, 6,000 square foot home to a townhouse. So she had experience in window treatments before. So that
Helps.
oftentimes that helps. That helps. I always ask that question, especially when we're talking about a door. Okay, have you ever had a sliding glass door in a previous space, or in
Mm,
this, or have you ever treated this sliding glass door previously? And if so, how did you treat it? Did you like what was on there? What didn't you like? What were the pros? What are the cons? So that this way I have a better way of handling and giving my best recommendation on how to treat the window or
yep,
door.
completely agree. Okay, so this is my next example. This is actually a video, so let me play it for you. This was a combination kitchen, dining, living room area, so a complete open
Nice.
concept type of space. And this is one of my favorite ways of treating a sliding glass door, a motorized sheer drapery. That's what I would do it anytime that I can, that the situation allows for it. Of course, not every situation does, but when it does, that is definitely my go-to recommendation. Of course, the um, budget has to support motorization.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have maybe just a standard sliding glass door that is 72 inches or so, then maybe you don't need necessarily motorization. But in this case, the the door was pretty wide, and it also was right next to this window. So it really made sense to motorize the whole thing, and the budget supported it, and also the entire decor supported it as well. This was the hardware for it was a traverse rod from Select Metals Hardware, which is
Mm-hmm.
done by United Supply. This is like I said, traverse rod, but the fascia is a flat, rectangular, or squarish type of fascia. It takes a long time to get it nowadays. The lead time is anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks.
If
So
not
you really
longer.
have to plan ahead. And but it's very sleek, it's kind of modern, it's very updated, and the look is really, really nice. The pleat that we used on this is actually not a pleat at all. It's a ripple fold, which
Mm-hmm.
is another really great way to do a drape on a wide sliding glass door, especially because you don't have a lot of like pleats stacked right next to each other, which is a little bit more of a traditional look. And the ripple fold is a little bit more of the transitional, more modern, contemporary type of look. But ripple fold also has a lot of challenges that come with it. We did do, I think, an episode on ripple fold drapes. I'm sure we'll do it again. So we'll tell you more about it then as far as the pleat and the challenges with ripple fold. But for right now, the takeaway as far as what do I do with a sliding glass door, anytime you can put a sheer type of drape on a functional traverse rod, if you can motorize it even better with a ripple fold, top, this is my personal recommendation, one of my favorites.
So, talk to me on the thought process because I see that both panels are they stack to the left.
Hmm.
So, what was the conversation in that? Like, was it like let's make them match? Because with the
Hmm.
window, you could have it where it was a center draw, but
Yeah.
for the door, it looked like the only option was to go with a
The left
the
drawer.
left,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's exactly it. They just wanted them to match. And the
Hmm.
video that I'm showing here, you might have made, I don't know if you heard the voice that accompanied it. That was the installer and the customer. And he said it's channel 3. So whenever you use a Somfy remote, there's a multi-channel remote.
Hmm.
You can put different windows on individual channels, which gives you an opportunity to control each window separately from each other. But then it also gives you one channel where you can control all of the windows.
Yeah.
You can either put it on the all channel or you can put it on whatever channel is available. And here they decided to put it on the channel number 3, and that's what this video is showing. So she wanted it to match when they are open, but chances are she really won't be opening this particular window that you're looking at right now.
Right.
So this window was on channel 1, then the door was on channel 2. So as far as like the practicality, the practical use of these treatments every day, chances are she'll have it on channel number 2, and will just operate the door, which will slide to the left. And that is dictated by how the door operates.
Yeah. So this is another great example because I often get that. Like, is it going to look too stack heavy almost, or make the room feel a little lopsided and not even if all the window treatments are going directly over to the left? So in a case like
Hmm.
this, the answer would be no, because there are things I always say there's function over fashion. Because we all want it
Hmm.
to look pretty. That's the fashion side of it all. But then there's the functionality of it. So in a case like this, the functionality took the priority over the whole fashion and trying to get a square peg, in a round hole type thing. Because I have to go sometimes. I know personally that I've gone down those rabbit holes of trying to make it work. But in a case like this, kudos to you and the client, and the designer and her client for recognizing that it's okay to have it all stacked to the left.
And speaking of the designer, I'm sorry I didn't mention it when I started talking about this project. This was done for Michelle Plachter Interior Design, which is a wonderful interior design firm that we have the privilege of supporting. They're located in the Philadelphia area and do the most beautiful, luxurious, high-end work. We've been working with them for a couple of years now, and it's been a terrific partnership. So Michelle Plachter Interior Design, make sure to follow them on Instagram. They just launched a new website, and she's just a terrific lady with a really awesome team.
It's so funny. I've never met any of your designers, but I feel like I know them. Like when I
I
hear
know, right?
Michelle
Because I
Plachter
talk
and
about
the Gasic Plea and everything else, I'm like,
I know.
I know all these people.
Yep, yep. There's certain ones that are kind of like your go-tos because
Yeah.
they do such beautiful work.
Yeah. Alrighty, everyone. Well, that concludes this week's episode on sliding glass doors. But before we let you go, there are a couple of things that we want to share with you. To listen to the audio version of Window Treatment Friday, where Luann and Vita really dive into the nitty gritty of the business side of window treatments. Here we talk about the visuals, the do's, the don'ts. How to get over challenges on dressing a window. Well, Luann and Vita really talk about the challenges and the do's and don'ts of running the window treatment side of the business, because we could talk pretty all day long, but it is mostly the pretty takes about 20% of the job. It's really the 80% of making sure you run a business. And Luann has a lot of cool things happening right now. We have Luann University launching. Today is the first day of pre-sales that goes up. Miss Vita here is hosting another class, teaching another class. So if you really want to get your systems locked down and whatnot, head on over to Luann University and check out all the courses that are available and sign up for Vita's class.
Thank you. It's a great class. It is how to scale your window treatment business to your first $1 million year. Today, Luann dropped our latest podcast episode. Today's was about paperless digital project management system. It's
Ooh.
all about those Nuji details that Kim often refers
Mm-hmm.
to. And so this project management system is the central
Yeah.
place of where to capture them. So make sure to listen to that episode as well. And yeah, my class starts on October 28th, and you can get all the details at luannniagara.com. And before we let you go, let me move this guy over a little bit. I want to make sure that you knew about the free gift that is available to you guys at vitaliainc.com. It is a curated lookbook filled with inspiration and education. 37 and a half window treatment ideas for you to steal, swipe, and use immediately on your next project. So make sure to get yours again on vitaliainc.com.
And if you are new to the window treatment game, Luann wrote an ebook, Architectural Digest Isn't Coming 10 Things You Need to Know About Custom Window Treatments. It's really a window treatment 101 guide. So head on over to windowworksnj.com to download your free copy.
All right. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining us today. Please join us every Friday at 9 a.m. for our next episode of Window Treatment Friday Live, where Kim and I just talk about window treatments, share our war stories, share some of our mistakes, and give you a lot of visual representation of how to handle different situations. And from us, you can get a whole slew of ideas and inspirations for your next window treatment projects. And if you are an interior designer in the Philadelphia area looking for support with your window treatment project, please give us a call. Vitalia Inc. is your one-stop go-to resource for all things window treatments.
And if you are in the New York and New Jersey area and you have a sliding glass door that you just don't know how to treat, I would be happy to help you on that project and any other window treatment and or awning project. We are fully equipped with our awning team, and our team at Window Works would love to help you with your next project. Now, next week's topic for WTF Live, we are going to be talking about let me see, I had it right here. Pattern fabrics. So I know
Oh,
a lot of
cool.
times we the trend right now that we're writing is, you know, solids with trims and things like that. So we're really going to just show you it is okay to use pattern. It is okay to use color. So if you want to see some of those great examples, meet us next Friday.
Because if it's Friday,
It's Window Treatment Friday Live every Friday at 9 o'clock on Italia Inc. Instagram and WindowWorks Facebook.
awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We will see you next Friday. Have a
Happy
great
start
weekend.
of October, everyone. Enjoy the kickoff of fall. Yes, I have my fall sweater on. It's happening.
I know, I got a warmer thing on too.
Have a
Goodbye,
great weekend,
everybody.
everyone.
Have a great weekend.